In Colombia, security forces detect an explosive device in Ituango minutes before the arrival of President Gustavo Petro. Pakistani authorities confirm the death of 1,053 people due to floods caused by heavy monsoon rains affecting the country since mid-June. And in Libya, the death toll after clashes between supporters of rival governments in Tripoli rises to 32. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Luis Alberto Matos from the TeleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. This Saturday, the police of the Colombian department of Antioquia detected an explosive device in the municipality of Ituango minutes before the arrival of President Gustavo Petro to meet with local authorities. The incident occurred near the educational institution Pedro de los Pina, where after the events, the president established a unified command post to stabilize public order. The device was located by a sniffer dog and was detonated under controlled conditions. After the incident, the head of state ordered to analyze the security situation in Ituango and restated his call for total peace to the armed groups. In Argentina, Buenos Aires City Police repressed demonstrations in support of Vice President Cristina Fernández. At the start of the rally, the demonstration had to be diverted from its original route after the right-wing Horacio Rodríguez Larreta blocked the route of the mobilizations with fences. A group of people pushed the fences next to the house of former President Cristina Fernández in the Recoleta neighborhood in the city. Police responded with a strong repressive operation that included tear gas and water cannon. Tensions arose while high-ranking national authorities condemned the police operation carried out by the government of Buenos Aires, which sealed off the building where the vice president lives. Simultaneous rallies all over Argentina in different parts of the world are held in support of Cristina Fernández. In Chile, the police repressed a protest of Mapuche groups for the freedom of political prisoners. Demonstrators demanded the release of the leader Héctor Yaitul, who has been in preventive custody since Wednesday. Chilean demonstrators who mobilized this Friday in favor of Mapuche resistance were repressed by Chilean police in the surrounding area of Alameda Square in Santiago de Chile, when they demanded freedom for all political prisoners. The protest is related to the arrest of Mapuche leader Héctor Yaitul, who has been in provisional detention since Wednesday, accused of several crimes, including an alleged attack against the state. In the Alameda sector, the police used hydrant cars to disperse the demonstrators who were protesting peacefully. The march in the capital coincides with a new wave of disturbances in several spots of the country.
In this plebiscite, in which, of course, we are going to approve a new constitution, they are not going to allow us to go out to the streets anymore, because this is a repressive government, just like the previous ones. We have a Mapuche political prisoners of the uprising, long-standing political prisoners. We are not going to accept it.
On Saturday, agents of the Secretariat for the Citizen Security and Protection in Chiapas, Mexico, rescued 82 Central American migrants who were traveling in two overcrowded trucks. According to a statement, the two vehicles were stopped for an immigration verification check. The migrants were rescued while the people driving the vehicles were detained in an operation coordinated with the police. 18 women, 60 men, and 4 children are the total amount of the rescued migrants, according to the report. The drivers of both trucks were handed over to the immigration authorities on charges of human trafficking. Mexico's General Attorney's Office has indicted Colonel Jose Rodriguez Perez for the disappearance and murder of 6 of the 43 Ayotzinapa students. The announcement was made at a press conference by Alejandro Encinas, Undersecretary for Human Rights and President of the Truth Commission. Encinas said that the information pointed to Rodriguez derived from investigating a series of calls made to an emergency number which provided evidence about the 6 students being held alive. Encinas underscored that federal and state authorities at the highest level were omissive and negligent in their functions, and that there is evidence suggesting they altered the facts and circumstances around this case which favor impunity for those responsible. So far, the GA has issued 83 arrest warrants, 20 of them against military officers for different crimes related to this case. Farmers Development Committee of Guatemala warned about the threat of extrajudicial evictions against more than 100 families living in the department of Alta Verapaz. Authorities reported that the families are descendants of farmer settlers and live on the Temal farm in the municipality of Copan, Alta Verapaz. Codeca denounced that local landowners are training and manipulating various groups to set farmers' houses on fire. In this regard, families of the town urged human rights institutions to intervene to prevent the violence. In Haiti, the Attorney General Jacques Lafontaine announced that he will initiate public proceedings against all those allegedly involved in acts of corruption. The prosecutor assured that those implicated in the acts of corruption that cost the state some $4.3 million will not be able to escape justice and that they will be found no matter where they hide. The prosecutor's announcement comes after the anti-corruption unit delivered some 10 reports in which officials from both the central state administration and local governments are listed. The documents detail acts of misappropriation of public assets, illegal acquisitions, mismanagement, and abuse of authority by state officials. We're going to take a short break now. Join us again after this.
In a world that doesn't stop, we give you space to keep up to date. Take a moment, breathe, and take care of your physical and mental health. Balance your well-being and guide your body. Only on TeleSUR. We share your feelings, exalt your accomplishments, and show your reality. Our approach is global and keeps us in tune with the peoples. Caribbean countries also get our signal. With enthusiasm, we will continue to broadcast for them. Because we are TeleSUR, the news broadcaster from South America and the Caribbean. It is our duty to reverse the damage we cause to the planet. Let's recover our natural ecosystems with actions in defense of the environment. Let's keep fighting for a greener world. Wednesdays, only on TeleSUR.
Welcome back to From the South. In the United Kingdom, hundreds of British citizens protest in front of the gas and electricity market's headquarters due to the growing energy crisis. The protest was promoted by Don't Pay UK, a movement that calls for a massive strike over unpaid energy bills starting on October 1st. This happened after Ofgem announced on Friday an 80.06% increase in energy price peaks, which pushed the average household's annual bill from €1,971 to €3,549 as from October. Protesters also denounced that hundreds of citizens would be affected by these measures, while experts warned that people could die this winter due to high energy costs, especially low-income citizens, disabled, and elderly people. U.S. Border Patrol agents confiscated about 85 kilograms of fentanyl, enough to kill more than 42 million people. The confiscation took place on Wednesday during the arrest of two smugglers traveling near the state of Arizona. Officials said the drug was being transported in several bags in which 340 packets of fentanyl pills were found. Fentanyl is a synthetic drug, 50 times more potent than heroin, and the increase in its consumption is a social scourge in the United States and northern Mexico. Palestinian Authority has begun negotiations for full membership at the United Nations amid acts of obstructionism and opposition by the United States government. UN Palestinian Ambassador Riyad Mansour said Friday that since the Palestinian-Israeli peace process has been frozen for the past 8 years due to Israeli measures and that there is no initiative on the table, the issue of full UN Palestinian membership must move forward. Mansour said achieving this goal is a policy that unifies the Palestinian people and its leaders, as he believes it would send a message to Israel that they will never succeed in preventing the setup of an independent Palestinian state. The Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant of Ukraine received 2 artillery impacts during the last hours. The attacks targeted radioactive material containers. A total of 17 projectiles were fired at the facilities of Europe's largest nuclear power plant in the last 24 hours. 4 of them hit the roof of the special facility, where 168 U.S. technology nuclear fuel sets are stored. Another 10 projectiles exploded 30 meters from the nuclear fuel dry storage facility. Despite being blamed upon by the corporative media, the Russian troops are present at the plant to ensure its control and security. In Russia, COVID-19 outbreak caused 90 deaths during the last 24 hours, with 47,000 new cases detected during the last day. The Eurasian nation is facing a new wave of the virus in the main cities. The Coronavirus Crisis Center counts a cumulative total of more than 19 million active cases, the highest number recorded since May this year. Since early July, Russian government announced that it would end all restrictions to combat the spread of COVID-19, including the requirement to wear masks, citing a steady decline in death from the virus. Yet cases requiring hospitalizations have increased in 49 regions and decreased in only 34. TeleSUR will dedicate its coverage of the Football World Cup Qatar 2022 to the figure of Diego Armando Maradona, who accompanied our crew in the last 2 World Cups. With the football star, we also tour our continent with the show De Sur da Viajero. We want this tribute to have its own music. And with that in mind, we invite you to compose a song for TeleSUR's coverage of Qatar 2022 Football World Cup. It must be an original song never recorded before or published in any media and free of legal attachments. Record the song in any format, even with your cell phone, and send it as an attachment to comunicaciones@telesurtv.net with the following information: author's name, nationality, and name of the song. The closing date for the call for entries is September 10, 2022. A jury of prestigious musicians and composers from the region will select the winning piece. The prize will be a recording of the song, a video clip, and the wide diffusion of the work. 1 week after the closing of the call, TeleSUR will announce the results. And we have more news coming up after a final short break, so don't go away. Welcome back to From the South. 32 dead and 159 injured in Libya in clashes between supporters of rival governments in the capital. According to a health ministry report, the death toll continues to rise due to the armed conflict between groups loyal to the leader of the National Unity Government, Abdul Hamid Mohamed Debaya, and supporters of Libya's parliament-elected Prime Minister Fathi Bashaga. Handguns have been fired, explosions have occurred on vehicles, and buildings have been set on fire. This comes after Fathi Bashaga sent a letter to Debaya demanding that he step down after the interim Prime Minister refused to hand over power without holding elections. In Pakistan, authorities confirmed the death of more than 1,000 people due to floods caused by heavy monsoon rains that have hit the country since mid-June. Pakistan's National Disaster Management Authority reported the death toll reached 1,033 after new fatalities were reported in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and southern Sindh province. Nearly 300,000 homes have been destroyed, numerous roads rendered impassable, and electricity outages have been widespread, affecting millions of people. The unprecedented monsoon season has affected all 4 of the country's provinces. At least 110 districts of Pakistan have been impacted by the floods. 72 of these have been declared in a state of emergency. Meanwhile, relief officials continue with rescue and evacuation efforts. Europe is experiencing its worst drought over the last 500 years. Almost 2/3 of Europe, that is 47% of its territory, is either under a state of alert or under an express warning due to a severe lack of soil moisture. Crops are experiencing losses between 12 and 16%, which could jump to 30 or 40% in the event of a prolonged drought. Crops affected include wheat, corn, soy, sunflower, rice, and fruits and vegetables. Also, the level of most rivers has significantly decreased, which affects both commercial transport and power generation. And on top of everything, this year Europe has experienced a significant spike in wildfires, with an estimated 740,000 hectares of forest destroyed. The UN World Food Programme warned that the world has faced deteriorating food security over the last 3 years. The UN agency stressed that the population facing severe food shortages increased by 150% since 2019, reaching some 345 million people. This shortage has been driven by the COVID-19 pandemic, climate change, and the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, the world's 2 leading grain producers and exporters. The conflict led to a drop in food exports and an increase in world food prices. According to WFP, some 828 million people go to bed hungry every night, and 50 million people in 45 countries are on the brink of starvation. China's largest freshwater lake has shrunk by 75% due to severe drought in the country. Poyang Lake, located in the central province of Jiangxi, plays an important role in regulating the flow of the mighty Yangtze River. This year, a record heat wave lasting more than 70 days, coupled with the arrival of the dry season, has caused the lake's accumulated water levels to drop dramatically. Shipping and the supply of drinking water to nearby communities were also affected. In addition, the lowering of the lake forced the digging of ditches to maintain the flow of water to one of the main rice-producing regions, as the usual irrigation canals disappeared. Over the weekend in Angola, locals and foreign guests are paying tribute to former President José Eduardo dos Santos. Dos Santos passed away last July 8th at a Barcelona hospital. He was 79 years old. His body arrived in Luanda last August 20th. Dos Santos was president of 38 consecutive years, starting in 1979 after the death of Agostinho Neto, Angola's first president. Dos Santos' funeral started this Saturday with a public display of his coffin at the Agostinho Neto Memorial at the Republic Square. The burial ceremony is scheduled for this Sunday, with the attendance of high-level delegations from several countries, mostly from neighboring African countries, but also from Portugal, Cuba, East Timor, and the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic. Hundreds of people rallied in India on Saturday to protest the government's decision to release 11 men who had been jailed for life for gang raping a Muslim woman during the devastating religious riots of 2002. In New Delhi, protesters chanted slogans and demanded that the Western state government of Gujarat overturn the decision. The 11 men released on suspended sentence on August 15th were convicted in 2008 of rape, murder, and unlawful assembly. The victim, now 40 years old, said the Gujarat state government's decision has left her stunned and shaken her faith in justice. The victim was pregnant when she was brutally gang raped during the 2002 communal violence in Gujarat. 7 members of the woman's family, including her 3-year-old daughter, were also killed in the violence. TeleSUR English continues to grow. It's still not reaches Europe. You can order from your cable dealer or tune it yourself. These parameters that you see on screen are in place since July 1st, and quite soon further changes will be implemented for the signals in the Middle East and Africa. Now more than ever, the world connects to us, and our stories are heard in all the faraway nations. This news multi-platform will continue providing truthful content to oppose the hegemonic media's narrative and of faithfulness to our audience. And we have come to the end of this news brief, where you can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. You can also join us on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Telegram. And now you can also follow us on TikTok at the account at TeleSUR English, in which you will be able to see news in different formats, news updates, and much more. For TeleSUR English, I'm Luis Alberto Matos. Thank you for watching.